Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 20th. This week, we're going to jump right in here. You have this Truth and Blessings card, so that looks good. Definitely could be a little bit of like truth setting you free here. So I'm not saying you're lying or something like that, Capricorn, but there could be a truth that comes in that sets you free, which would be good. Also, blessings, obviously. I feel this is, I was literally going to say blessings after a difficult period of time. And you have the Ten of Swords, which is like a blessing in disguise. So this right here could be a little bit of blessing in disguise energy coming in for you. And obviously that could be a good thing. You have the Three of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Knight of Swords here. It's like I feel like there's some sort of risk that you have to take here. Five of Swords can represent separation, winning at all cost, walking away from things. Walking away from things that no longer serve you. But sometimes I feel that the Five of Swords is about taking some sort of risk that could probably change your life with that Wheel of Fortune here. Not only that, you have the Knight of Swords with the Knight of Pentacles here. The Knight of Swords, sometimes I feel that he gets to whatever the next card is. In this case, it's the Knight of Pentacles. And he's like choosing to run back to safety. And, again, obviously, I'm not saying you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. That's not what I mean by safety. What I mean here is it's like Knight of Pentacles can be progress. And sometimes I do think we run away from progress, or we don't do something that could lead to a lot more progress in our lives, right? So, we'll talk more about that when we get there. In your current general energies, you have the Three of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. Three of Cups can be like celebration, happiness. I'm pretty sure you've been getting a lot of stuff about like really spending time with the people who matter most to you, Capricorn. I'm pretty sure it's you. So, anything you can do to surround yourself with people who want to celebrate with you, obviously, would be a good thing. This is like surrounding yourself with people who really lift you up. This can also represent a harvest coming in for you here. I feel like saying like that you should probably be taking bigger chances, especially like in work, business, whatever you do in to earn finances. Even if you're retired, you can still learn about money. Like retired people always leave me comments like, I'm retired. I'm like, but you still need money, right? I'm pretty sure. So there could be things that you can learn. There could be things that you could do to improve your harvest, and I would be doing those things with the Three of Cups. But, again, I would be taking bigger chances, and we're not talking about ridiculous risk here. We're talking about, like, just little risks where you put yourself out there a little bit more in work or business, or, put in just a tiny little bit more effort. I feel all those, even just those little bits will add up over time, and I feel it'll be worth it. You have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords, again, can represent a separation, walking away from something. But I feel it's, again, asking you to take a risk. He's taking the risk of being maybe different. These two people are losing. He's winning. And, yeah, maybe he's kind of won at all cost, which we kind of look at as a negative thing in life usually. Winning at all costs can mean that, you're winning because of bad reasons or because, you chose to be unethical or whatever. But I don't really feel that for you, Capricorn. I feel this is saying that you just need to choose to win. And, really that's it. Sometimes I think with the Five of Swords that, it can say that, I think if we are surrounded by people who aren't winning, we can start to feel bad that they're not winning. But, right now we have Pluto in Aquarius. It's left your sign. Pluto in Aquarius is all about being a living example. It's not about telling anyone to do anything, right? So we just have to live our best life. And the people who are going to follow are going to follow. And they will improve their lives. The people who aren't, right? It's just that simple. And, again, it's not a criticism of those people, but it just says you shouldn't be holding yourself back or, holding yourself down because of other people. And, I feel the Five of Swords is kind of saying that. You have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, definitely no rushing at this time. We enter into the Mercury retrograde shadow on the 21st. So I would definitely be kind of like taking your time, looking at all information, if you're working on anything. It is a really good time to work on things. Even, I think this Mercury retrograde could be one of those good ones, kind of, especially if you're revisiting an old idea or something like that. But, it does seem to be one of those retrogrades where if we're going to make a mistake, it's probably one of those tiny ones where we just rushed past something and we didn't look at the instructions, right? And so as long as you pay attention, I think you'll be fine. I also feel there's something you want that you need to not run away from here, Capricorn, Knight of Pentacles, right here. We go all the way to this Ace of Swords. So it's like, this is clearly going to be a victory. The Knight of Pentacles is progress. So it's going to be different for all of you. I'm not picking up on one thing with that Knight of Pentacles. It could be money, it could be business, it could be your career, health, love, business. I said business already. It could be anything. And, whatever it is, it's something you want. I feel like you have to charge towards it. With the Three of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, I definitely feel that we should be surrounding ourselves with more happy-go-lucky people right now as well. People who are too focused on outcome, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and I'm not telling you to avoid people who are focused on a specific outcome or whatever, but I just think a better energy is being with people who are kind of more on an adventure, not so much I need my life to work this way, and I feel that energy will rub off on you in a good way. And I really do feel Capricorn is one of the signs where, it's fine to have a goal. It's good to have a focus. But I think Capricorn needs to eliminate the middle. As in, how you get there doesn't matter. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? It's I think the more flexible you can be in the middle, the better. And I hope that makes sense. But there you go. With the Five of Swords, you show up here, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, of course, is you, and it's a card of being resourceful. We have the King and Queen of Pentacles, so if you do want love with this Two of Cups and the Four of Wands, definitely could be a strong connection coming in for you here. I always say that my problem with the King and Queen of Pentacles is the desire. It's it can be a very strong connection, but it sometimes is missing the spiciness, the romance part of things. It can be almost too grounded and not, it's I think every relationship maybe needs a little bit of fantasy to keep it spicy, right? And so we'll have to see if anything else comes up. The cards are good, right? But maybe something just hasn't become spicy yet, for lack of a better term here. Capricorn, sorry, I almost called you Virgo. With the Knight of Swords, you show up again as the World card. The World is your card. It kind of is saying you're in control of your reality right now. And so I feel you have to charge past something with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. It could be a limiting belief. It could be, you thinking you're not good enough to accomplish something. It's going to be different for all of you, but the World is an accomplishment or an achievement. You also have two portal cards here. The World and the Wheel of Fortune are both portal cards. With the Wheel of Fortune, we have the snake on the side of it, and snakes are guardians of portals. And so snakes represent fears. Usually we have to face some sort of fear right here. Maybe this as well with the Five of Swords to be able to cross through the portal. Usually, again, not always true, but sometimes I feel the Wheel of Fortune is the fear of the unknown. It's you could have a great opportunity in front of you, but you don't know the outcome. I just noticed this as well. You have this expectation card coming up in the next row. So Page of Wands has no expectations, right? He's just down to clown. He's just down to enjoy the adventure. I think that would be a good energy for you to embrace. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Inspire card and this Remember card. Yes, remember, you are here to inspire at this time. I literally just said that. So anything you can do to be an inspiration would be very good for you. I feel like you need to remember what you want your life to be. It's not even sometimes I think this Remember card is saying you need to remember why you're doing something. We can set out to accomplish a goal, and when it only becomes about the goal, then, sometimes that's when we get stuck because we're doing it for the wrong reason. Whether that's a certain amount of money that we're trying to make or we're trying to impress people or whatever. When we're doing things because we remember, I want to accomplish this goal because of reason, then things can go better. But I think you need to remember what you want in your life is what it's saying to you, Capricorn. It's maybe things have become too sterile, in your life. It's things have become too routine, or maybe you've created too much of a routine to follow or something. I'm not saying routines are a bad thing either, but it's I think being messy a little bit right now is a good idea. We have South Node and Virgo. The challenge with South Node and Virgo is no one wants to be messy. The solution is we have to be willing to make mistakes. We have to be willing to be messy on whatever it is we're doing. Also here in the area of what's coming in for you, you have the Ten of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Knight of Pentacles. Definitely could be a blessing in disguise. He's making this symbol right here with his hand. It's the same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card, and it represents a blessing. So some of you could be seeing that something that didn't work out in your past is leading to a blessing in disguise. You have that blessings card that you're starting with as well. I do feel like you have to let go of something. Ten of Swords usually, this guy here is dead, and he needs to realize that something from his past is dead, done, over with. The old part of his story, whatever it is that he's been through or whatever he's experienced, and now it's time to get up off the ground and start moving forward. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which can be a change in your fortunes, and I feel more that you are trying to take control of your fortunes. Is this a bad thing? Hell no. I think this is good for Capricorn. I think if I were a Capricorn, I basically am, I would be focusing on what's working and doubling down on the things that are definitely working in your life. The other thing I would say is I do get a little bit of a refinement energy on this Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes I think during Mercury retrograde, the Wheel of Fortune can say we are revisiting something to make it more specific or to make it more refined. So we could be taking something that has been messy and kind of making it more focused in a good way. And if you are doing that on a project, a business, an idea, even your health, something personal, I would say refinement would be a very good energy with the Wheel of Fortune for sure. And it definitely could be the thing that changes your fortunes. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, slow progress. I do feel as we get into next year, maybe not this year, but whatever, Capricorn, it's the reason I say these things, people always ask me, why do you talk about next year if we shouldn't worry about it yet? And the reason I talk about it is because I want to inspire you to do it now. It's yes, maybe the energy next year is going to be better for you to take some bigger leaps, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take those big leaps now. Knight of Pentacles sometimes I feel is a little bit of a dabbler. He has these empty fields behind him. He could easily plant those seeds in those fields and they would grow. It's does it really matter if you start something now or next year? Probably not, but you could learn a lot between now and next year, which would set you up for a better year next year, right? So even if you would have a better chance of success next year, if you're working on a project or something, it's what you could learn now is worth it, right? So that's what I'm trying to say on the Knight of Pentacles. It's yeah, maybe you're not going to make $1 million overnight on your business, but again, what you learn now could make you 10 million over the next few years because you learned it now, right? And I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is saying, yeah, it doesn't matter when you start, but you might as well get started now on something. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Page of Cups. Yeah, I mean, could be a blessing in love. I feel this is very common Capricorn energy right now, and it has been all year. We've basically talked about it, that, a lot of you have probably had challenges in connections, and now you could be getting into something that is a little bit, that you're realizing is more of a blessing. This could be saying that you're happy that now that something from the past didn't work out for you, Capricorn. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, too much. I feel this for Capricorn, trying to do too much at once, right? Like I said, I would stay open to possibilities, but I wouldn't be doing something that creates a burden. We are in a time of simplification. So that doesn't mean that you can't work hard. I know you Capricorns love working hard, but what it does mean is your work efficient? It's one of those things. I think Capricorn would do very well installing a filter in your brain. And that filter should be take in all the ideas, write them down. If you come up with a new idea for work or business, write it down on a piece of paper and try it. But if it's just hard work, probably not good. If you put in, an hour of work into something and it produces 10 times the result, then definitely good, right? Wheel of Fortune wants you to double down on those things that produce more of a result. But I think the filter is what needs to happen because, you're going to have a lot of ideas for a while, into the future. I feel you could really be innovating your work, especially with Pluto in your second house. That's where you're going to get your power. But I think the challenge is doing things that just because they're hard work, right? And if you can do that, then I think not only will you simplify your work, but also whatever it is you work on, which could include things like your health, your spirituality, your friendships, things like that. But you're going to be simplifying things and making your life a lot smoother. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Six of Swords. Yes, moving on to calmer shores. A lot of people have been getting these cards of improvement, so yeah, absolutely. I think there could be a lot of improvements coming in for you. I also feel that a lot of you could be moving on to calmer shores. I also think that something that you could be charging through here could be the thing that leads to improvements. So again, I really wish I knew what this was, but it almost feels like an idea to me that you're like, that idea can't work, and maybe that's why you're running away from it with the Knight of Swords. And I feel this is saying like, no, if you have new ideas at this time and you experiment with them and you don't overcommit, then you could really discover something that really helps you out. Make sure to leave a comment, by the way, it really helps me out. In the area of your messages from your future self, you have this Judication card. It says advisor, consultant, negotiation, discussion, final decision, conflict, discernment, moral ambivalence. You have this Expectation card. It says hoping, waiting, yearning, longing, contemplating, observing, patience, keeping tabs, delays, and taking time. So, I don't know, are you spying on someone here, Capricorn? I'm not sure. We don't see any spying cards except for this one. But what I would say is I would remove expectations from anything that you're doing, not even just love, but everything. And I would, go on the journey and look at it as just something that is going to be an experience, and that's it, right? I think if you do that, then things will go very well. You have the King of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is like stability, building wealth, focusing on wealth. Which you definitely are going to be focusing on for the next 20 frickin' years, probably at least. And yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. I think you have a great opportunity to, build real, true financial security. And, the trick for Capricorn, I'm pretty sure I said this in your last reading, is to realize that your story is different. Many times in the past or over the past many years, you've probably tried things. It's like maybe you get a little bit ahead, but then you also don't. You kind of go backwards at times, but those days are over. It's like you can get ahead with your ideas. And, part of the struggle for Capricorn is having put in so much work for so many years. It's like, and now the universe is asking you to put in more work. And, that I think is the challenge. But, and there's a big but here, Capricorn, what you need to realize is that your results can be different now, and they will be different if you pay attention to what's working. And, that's what I would do. You have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is like a perfect match. Two of Cups can be someone who's different than your usual type. Two of Cups, is communication. So some of you could be meeting a new person. This has been coming up for you for weeks. Could be another Earth sign. Could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo with the World card. Could be any sign, general reading. But I do feel that there is some sort of match coming in for you here. It's like a little bit of a, I don't know. There might be a little bit of an ego thing. Didn't I say this to you recently? I'm pretty sure I did. That I said something about how there's I don't know. There might be this person might be real stubborn or something like that. It's popping into my head. Is it a problem? No, I don't think so. But, I don't know. Pay attention. This is a general reading. So obviously, if you're clashing with a person, you shouldn't be clashing with a person 24/7. So that, if you are, that's probably not the connection we're talking about here. But definitely could be a perfect match. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is playing it safe. Probably your worst enemy right now, Capricorn. Definitely not a time to play it safe. It's I wish I had a good example for you here. But, all I do all day is YouTube, right? I post last month I posted 467 videos on YouTube, right? It's all I do. And so, what I would say here is that it's I teach YouTube on weekends, and I can see it in some people where it's I know that they could be more of an actor, and I don't mean that they're being fake. I just know that the way they present themselves, they could get more across in their videos, right? But I can tell they're holding back. That is kind of how I feel about the Four of Pentacles for you here, Capricorn, where it's I know that you have it in you, but you just have to let it out, whatever it is. And so, I don't know, I hope that makes sense to some of you, but that's the best way I can put it. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Tower here. I feel like you're fearing a Tower moment for sure. I think the Towers come up a lot this week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm over halfway through with these readings, and so there could be some sort of global Tower moment. There will be many between now and 2033. We are literally in the global Tower time. So, and every time this happens, something weird happens in the world. So, I don't know. Don't be surprised if something happens, but at the same time, I don't really feel this is bad. I do feel like some of you could be reinventing yourselves financially, and that definitely comes up in your astrology anyway. that you could be kind of seeing the truth in your finances. I always say, to me, the Tower is good. They've been ignoring reality. Now they're coming down to reality. I'd rather see reality in something that I'm working on, right? With the Two of Cups, you have the Sun. So there you go. Definitely could be a lot of happiness here in a connection if you're attracting love. The Sun is also your attention. And so the Sun with the Two of Cups the Two of Cups can also be you and your higher self. And the Two of Cups could really be encouraging you to tap into your higher self or to use more of that higher self energy. Yeah. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Cups, being more authentic. That is letting your true self out. And maybe that's what I'm talking about with the whole YouTube thing, is that I know that those people are, it's not that they're hiding. I'm not criticizing these people. And I always say that I say this directly to these people's face. So for those of you that are worried about it, anytime I bring it up, people are like, you're talking behind these people's back, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I literally call them out live, right to their face. So I'm not saying anything bad here, but again, like I said, it's like maybe that's what it is, like authenticity. It's not that they're being inauthentic. They're just not, they're holding back, right? And I feel this is encouraging you to not hold back. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card. It says, the time is now. Yes. It says, it is time to act now without hesitation. Move past the old and move forward. Yes. Tower, for sure. You have the Soul Family. It says, prepare to meet those who share a similar frequency level as you. So, Three of Cups, right? I was saying on the Three of Cups how you could be finding more people that match your vibe, and obviously that would be a good thing. You have the Devil, the Four of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. The Devil can represent toxic energy, but it's coming up in the good stuff, and it also is you, Capricorn, so you're showing up in a strong position here. Whenever you show up as yourself, kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. The Devil can also represent, like I said, healing from anything toxic, and definitely with the Ten of Swords, you could be doing some healing. You have the Four of Wands, if I can get it. The Four of Wands can represent marriage. Doesn't say you have to marry a person, but can definitely represent marriage potential. Four of Wands is also like a finish line card. There's like this finish line right here, and these people are celebrating on the other side. So are you really crossing a finish line? No, I don't think so. I think you're stepping through a portal is a better way to put it. It's kind of a finish line. It's like, some of you could be finishing some things up, but I feel like you're more leveling up, or you're, taking something to the next level, probably with the Four of Wands. And you also have the Ace of Swords, which is great. Ace of Swords can be a victory, a big success coming in for you, big win. It can also represent overcoming an obstacle. The sword is above the mountains, so I feel a lot of you definitely could be overcoming some sort of obstacle here, which would be good. With the Devil, you have the King of Swords. Yeah, it's like knowledge and wisdom. I mean, you've learned a lot since, the past 20 years. But you also had Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn loves being in Capricorn, but this was back in 2016 when Saturn was in Capricorn for a few years. And Saturn in Capricorn is like profitable education. So you have to think back to what you were doing in 2016-ish, somewhere around there. Maybe like 2016, 2019, even after Saturn left Capricorn. And what were you learning? What were you working on? That's probably what you are going to be using now. And I would just think about it. With the Four of Wands, you have the Three of Cups. Yes, I think you are committing to surrounding yourself with better people. Kind of like we said here. You could be, and again, these people are celebrating a harvest. So, this could be the blessing that's coming in for you, as you're attracting people into your life that bring more energy to the table. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, we were talking about, well, I don't remember what we were talking about, but World Wheel of Fortune can be about being a little bit more adventurous, going on adventures, putting yourself out there more, blah, blah, blah. So I think being more adventurous would be a good idea for you. You have the Sunrise card. It says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Yes. On the other side of some sort of fear, with the Snake on the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, pushing through something is going to bring you to this. So there you go. You have this claw. It says, be careful, do not take risks. The whole entire reading says take a risk. So, I think, but one thing I will say is with Pluto in Aquarius, it is a specific type of risk we should be taking. Pluto in Aquarius is the risk of exposure. The risk of saying something and being wrong. The risk of speaking up at work. The risk of starting a YouTube channel. The risk of telling people what you want to do with your life and them calling you a fool. Stuff like that. We shouldn't take uncalculated risks. So that's what I'd pay attention to there. You have this carrot, it says opportunity or windfall. Yes, I think there's a bigger opportunity than you realize. You look at a carrot when it's growing on the ground, you just see the green garbage growing out of the top of it. You don't see what's underneath, right? And so the whole reading is asking you to dive into something or to pull something up, right? Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. Pushing through, going through the process of pulling that carrot up out of the ground. Exploring an opportunity. You have this throne, it says position of authority. King of Swords, I think it's a great time for you to work towards becoming an authority if you want to. If you're working on a business where you could become a leader, if you're on social media where you could become an authority or something like that, really good time for you to do that. You have this firecracker, it says excitement. Yeah, definitely could be a lot of excitement. The tower can be excitement as well. So, definitely could be some excitement coming in for you. But this looks really good, Capricorn. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.